Hello, everybody. This is the OMG Podcast, and I'm Marla Guloien, and I'm joined by Dr. Rahi, and you're from Beverly Hills, California right now, coming in on Riverside. This is so exciting. Episode 1, going live to Spotify with you as our first guest. I'm so excited.
That's exciting. I'm so lucky to be the first guest.
Look at this. Look what I found today.
Stop.
Isn't that incredible? I got more.
Wow.
I know. Are you ready for this one?
Wow.
Just like, on Facebook, it's one of those funny things because the year we graduated was the year that Facebook came out.
I know. Remember that too.
Yeah. So that's kind of an interesting thing that like literally it's every person you knew for those first couple of years, you added on Facebook.
That is so funny.
So it is
funny. My goodness. That's so cute.
I know. Like, look at us. We are young pups. We are 18 years old here. So this is so exciting because really, truly, I love
cute. That is so cute.
Thank you so much for joining me. And I guess let's get into it because I'm so excited. I've been digging deep into all of your work and going through just all of your accomplishments. And I'm excited to hear from you.
Thank you.
So tell me, like, again, because this is where we started. For those of you watching, this was the University of Toronto for us, 18 years old. Tell me about your medical career and how you formulated your education and all of that.
Yeah. So I always knew I wanted to go to med school, even when we met in undergrad. So we went to University of Toronto. It was interesting because I came from growing up, I came from a really strict family where I wasn't really allowed to do anything. So when I moved to the dorms and when I, made it to undergrad, I was kind of a little wild in my first year because I was freedom finally. But then I gained focus again my second, third, and fourth year where I was I want to go to med school. So I ended up going to med school, a school called Ross in the Caribbean. Do you remember that? Did I tell you that?
I looked it up. I'm very excited to for you. And I'm always so impressed when I look at different people's paths because it's all so different.
Yeah.
And you just don't know when you're young for yourself and or for your friends, how it's all going to unfold. And I'm so proud and excited that you're a doctor.
So the last time I saw you was in Vancouver and I think I was there for some sort of conference for my medical school. So I went to med school and the ultimate goal at that time was to move to the United States, move to California, just because I had this I had visited and I loved it and I love the weather, but also I kind of wanted a little bit more freedom. So I did my med school. Then I started my residency at USC, which is in Los Angeles. And at the time, LA was great, but I'm not so sure about right now. And did my residency in internal medicine. And then I realized during that time that I did not want to practice that type of medicine. I was this doesn't make sense to me because, my patients were coming in and they were getting sicker and sicker. No one was getting better. It was we did clinic 1 day a week and then we did hospital the rest of the days. And we worked 6 days a week as a resident, sometimes 7, sometimes 5, but it was pretty intense, the schedule.
Yeah.
And so it was a mixture of hospital, mostly hospital, a little bit of clinic. And so you'd see your patients in the clinic and then sometimes they'd be in the hospital because they would be getting sicker. And it was just it just didn't make sense to me, the system. It was kind of this is how life is going to be? Because then my patients were at the time I was in my late 20s. So my patients were in their 30s, 40s, 50s. And I'm I don't want that for myself when I'm 40, I don't want to be this sick. I don't want to be diabetic. I don't want to be on all these medications. So residency was only 3 years. Once it ended, I started working as a hospitalist, which means I worked in the hospital, but I still realized that it wasn't right for me. And during residency, I had discovered the sort of area of integrative medicine. And I really, really wanted to explore it more, but my residency program was pretty strict and they didn't want any other residents doing away rotations. So it's just I knew I had to wait till I finished residency in order to pursue that path. So once I finished residency and started working, then I applied to become a fellow, to do a fellowship in integrative medicine. And that is really what just kind of changed my career path. The fellowship program was 2 years. It was mostly remote, partially in person. And it's in Tucson, Arizona, which is I don't know if you've been there, but I love it. Have you been
No, I
there?
haven't been, but I know a lot of people that love Arizona and it's warm.
It's hot,
Yeah.
but it's also very like Tucson's very spiritual. It's very
Right.
nice. Yeah, and there's a lot of mountains and it's just very peaceful. And it's like a really great place to go. And we did a lot of like in the fellowship program, the fellowship was focused on not just like teaching us like integrative, but because integrative medicine is not just seeing a patient, diagnosing, treating. It's like
Right.
all encompassing. It like they taught us on how to set up our clinics. They
Right.
talked to us like how to make it like warm and inviting versus like, you know, when you go into a traditional medical clinic, it's like very depressing and sterile and plastic chairs.
Right.
It's not like it's just like not a very inviting environment. You know what I mean?
Right now is a really interesting time for caregiving, from a Canadian's perspective, looking at the system and having family
Yeah.
members that are suffering and needing access to physicians. We are lacking access in a really critical way.
Yeah.
And so when they say people are actually dying on waiting, it is true. My sister last year, had we not accessed private PET CT scans, she would have been one of those statistics where her cancer had metastasized and so into the bones in several spots. And
What kind of
her
cancer?
so she had breast cancer and she fought it and did all of the standard of care. Here is chemo, radiation, hormone therapy, all these things. And then it metastasized 2 years later. And she found out because she went to open a pickle jar and her arm broke. Her arm broke in half. She literally dropped to the floor. And here in Canada, it's very different. And I want to hear from you, being that you're a Canadian and you're practicing there, and also kind of what you're speaking to, which is just this moral and ethical responsibility of trying to actually care for someone's overall wellness, because that's such a critical part of the equation. It's not forgetting that it's all connected.
Yeah.
But yeah, basically she found out through a private PET CT scan that her arm had broken because of a large tumor. And it was only that
Wow.
confirming information, then she was able to see her oncologist. But otherwise, she was going to wait 3 months for a test, a diagnostic,
That's crazy.
with no
That
treatment
is
in place.
crazy.
With no
I
treatment.
mean, the healthcare system in the United States is messed up and it's messed up in Canada. It's just messed up overall. Like, and that's why it's important for the patient to like really take control of their own health.
Yeah.
It's not up to the physician, because then you just get lost and like it's just like in the Canadian system, like it's delayed, and then the American system, and there's like other challenges, you know, in the American system. So yeah, I mean, I think that's really why it's important for patients to like really like be educated on health and wellness. And, you know, everyone should have like a basic understanding of what like health and wellness is and like how to take care of their own bodies. Because if you're going to rely on, and that's how like the traditional system, unfortunately, is like when I would see my patients in the traditional system, like half of them wouldn't even know what medications they were on, why they were on it, what their diagnosis was. And like they just heavily relied on the physician to, you know, help them and guide them and just do everything for them.
Right. Yeah.
Having just basic understanding of like health and wellness as a patient is really important, and taking full control of your health and wellness and trying your best to stay as healthy as possible for as long as possible, so that, you know, like for example, right now in the United States, they're cutting Medicare, which is the insurance for those who are less fortunate. And that's messed up because a lot of these people are not going to be able to afford their medication, and inevitably they're going to die because they're just not going to be able. So that's why it's important to keep yourself as healthy as possible for as long as possible, so that you don't need to be reliant on these systems that aren't going to necessarily always be in your right interest or help you.
Yeah, Dr. Rahi, I think you're like really, really making the most important point for people.
Yeah.
Because even this morning when I was like going through your Instagram, I really love that you are, on a similar mission of sharing the fitness aspect and the movement aspect, because I truly believe, that movement is medicine and prevention is everything.
Yes. Agree 100%. And that's the other thing. Like, you just have to move every single day and you have to exercise. And there's just like no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Like, you just have to have physical exercise in your life.
Yeah, I have many questions for you. One question I had for you though was, interestingly, are there certain diseases and or underlying conditions that one can actually detect first through skin or that show up
Through skin? I mean, yes, your skin is your biggest organ. And a lot of times, like, the traditional system, again, is like set up so that, like, when you go and see like a dermatologist, they're going to give you creams and stuff to like mask it up. But, what's going on with your skin is a manifestation of what's happening on the inside. So, yes, absolutely. I mean, a lot of autoimmune conditions manifest in the skin. And so if you have something like psoriasis, eczema, there's probably something else going on in your gut on the inside. So there's always something, like if there's something like if you have like cystic acne, there's definitely something going on in the inside. Diet, hormones, gut health. All of this is so connected, and the traditional system is not set up for the provider to approach you that way as a patient. Like, it's just like, oh, you have cystic acne, let's put you on Accutane, or like, let's give you like antibiotics. But it's like, but why do I have this? And how can I potentially like heal myself so that not only does the acne go away, but it doesn't come back. And then whatever imbalance in my body is balanced out.
Right. So tell me, what is your killer morning health stack routine of keeping you as a doctor? When you wake up, what is it that you first kind of put into your body, whether it's nutrition or motion?
Okay. So ideally, I mean, honestly, my schedule's been really crazy. So it's been hard to like say I have like an amazing morning when I wake up and I'm like super balanced, because I feel sometimes, and that's usually what happens. Like, the doctor doesn't necessarily mean like, it's like, do as I say, not what I do, sort of. I mean, I do exercise a lot, and in my perfect world, I would wake up every morning and exercise. But like some mornings I just can't. Like this, for example, this morning I had to wake up, get my hair done for the podcast. And that takes like an hour and a half. So, but the ideal morning would be like drinking lots of water and then exercise before I eat. And I like to also take some creatine before or after I exercise. And then I like to take some magnesium in the morning and in the evenings. And for breakfast, funny enough, I usually like to eat more like savory foods for breakfast. And it's just something with like protein in it. And that's pretty much it. And then I'll head into the clinic, and my day kind of starts pretty early. It usually starts like, I usually wake up at like 6. And if I can, I'd wake up earlier, but 6 is probably the earliest I can manage to wake up. And then, the day starts.
I'm a 4 a.m. riser.
Really?
Yeah, actually, it used to be like 2:30. When I'm like hardcore in the school schedule with my kids.
That's impressive.
Yeah, no, it's the way to live. I absolutely adore it. It's the only time that I pop out of bed and I have a couple hours to myself. I get all my work done before 8 a.m. I go to sleep with my kids at 7. So it's like nice and relaxed, and it works out for me. But yeah, getting up, rising early are definitely, and again, moving my body here in my own space is kind of how I start my day as well. Just kind of get after it. So I want to hear about you and your practice.
Sure.
And I want you to tell me a bit about being a woman doctor, because again, like just the field of so many things, medicine is especially one that we need more female physicians, and it's admirable, and that also puts you in a really powerful position within a practice because you're the top. So tell me about that. And
so I guess, like starting my own practice is probably one of the hardest things I've done, but I feel like I'm constantly doing things that are hard, like going to med school, residency, then taking boards and starting my own practice. Cause I'd say 90% of doctors don't start their own practice. They end up either like working for a big hospital system or a big like sort of clinic system, or they end up getting partners in like a more private practice, but they still don't, start their own practice. So being a female doctor, I think it was a little bit harder at the beginning. And I don't know if it was because I was female and the way others perceived me, or if it was just me being a female and the way I perceived myself as a female doctor. But as I get older and I'm more like established in my career, I'm more and more confident and comfortable. Because I think at the beginning, it's like I always knew, like, I knew what I knew. I had the knowledge. It's just presenting it confidently was maybe the most difficult thing for me. Because I guess I didn't grow up with too much confidence, and that's just another topic we can talk about later. But then one day I woke up and I was like, no, I know my stuff. I know my stuff really well. And I know my stuff probably better than the majority of, physicians. And so I had to like really know that about myself. And once I realized that, I mean, I always knew it, but once I like realized that like I was designed and I am supposed to be doing what I'm doing, and that confidence really has come through. And now I'm like very comfortable being a female doctor running a private practice.
It really speaks, I think, or is important at least, to hold space for the time that we were also brought up in, and the ideas and what we were our expectations and what we were thought was possible. Because, we are a funny generation. We're kind of like before the internet, and also in the, the day and age where everything is now, online.
Yeah.
And being able to hold space for the woman that is powerful and not having to pull back your strength and your power,
Yeah.
because in that, we're kind of that bridge over generation where we have tendencies, even just from watching our mothers and our grandmothers and our aunties, having to shrink. And I think that's why it's so impressive when you have your own practice as a woman.
Thank you.
And like, I really think the other most important aspect of all of this is that women in general have been largely left out of so many studies in our history. And so it's an exciting time to talk to, female doctors, just because we're really kind of digging in now, I think, to conversations around menopause, and perimenopause, which is like a term people didn't even know existed.
I know. That's very true. 100%. And I actually do a lot of hormones in my office too. I provide a lot of hormone optimization for my patients, both men and women. And that's something that a lot of people didn't know about before. And a lot of women in their 50s and 60s are very hesitant, but the younger generation, they're more open to it. But yeah.
So tell me,
unfortunately, because, my parents live in Canada, the Canadian system still hasn't caught up to that yet.
Right. Yeah. And I also noticed that when I was looking this morning, that the industry itself of mostly of what you do, like the non-invasive procedures and things, what do you feel like that is part of like a shift in trend? Obviously, it's access and new technologies, again, advancing technology with AI. Are you facing and feeling that shift in technology? And that's kind of part of why the industry itself of aesthetic medicine is expanding so incredibly, like, rapidly. Like the number of non-invasive treatments has like gone up significantly. The industry size itself is like doubling by 2030, which is interesting. And again, we have these like, the other reason I really wanted to hear from you is because of this rise and people needing to know that it's important to see a professional for all these things, and the desire has increased for these things.
So I think, it's just technology is increasing, science is, evolving, and there's more knowledge out there, and there's more therapies that are coming out. Back in the day, it was, oil of Olay, and then you get a facelift. But now it's like, do you even need to get a facelift? Like, that's another question. Like, there's so many things you could do that are minimally invasive. And as long as you're okay with just aging to a certain degree, like you might not ever need one. As long as, ask a plastic surgeon and they're going to like probably scream at me for saying that. But, like there's a lot of like minimally invasive procedures you could do to keep yourself looking healthy, youthful, rejuvenated without necessarily like needing to, jumping to the knife. That might be your last resort.
Right. I love that.
Surgery is not without consequence either. There's a lot of like complications associated and a lot of downtime. So people don't want downtime. You have to find the right surgeon. Facelifts are extremely expensive. But now it's more about like skin quality and skin health. Like, because even if you get a facelift, you're not improving the skin quality. Like, so now it's like we have these machines and lasers and radio frequency and that are really focused on like improving skin quality and skin health.
That's exciting.
Yeah. And lots of skincare and like topical skincare that has peptides in it. Yeah.
So tell me that's actually one of my next questions. I wanted to hear your thoughts on peptides and all these different treatments. And what is your top treatment that you're offering in your office? What's your favorite treatment?
So I'm doing a lot of weight loss and I'm doing a lot of peptides, and peptides are basically short chains of amino acids that act as cellular messengers, and like they basically like trigger your cells to perform an action. And for example, insulin is a peptide. Ozempic is a peptide. So there's some peptides that are FDA cleared, and then there's some that are more investigational. And in Canada, I think it's a little bit more regulated even so. And then there's peptides used in skincare as well. And some of my more popular procedures are the weight loss, the hormone optimization, and my cool peel laser, which I'm obsessed with.
Oh, that's amazing. And so obviously people can check you out on your website and your Instagram. What is your handle again?
Yeah. So my website is drrahi.com, but it's doctor spelt out, so DOCTOR. And then my Instagram is also doctor spelt out, Dr. MD.
Okay. I love it. I have, let me see. I had some rapid fire for you. I know you're getting married. This is very exciting. Is this a private thing? Oh, there it goes.
No, it's pretty not my nails are a mess. So I'm not showing you my nails. I literally have a nail appointment after this podcast.
That's gorgeous. You look very happy, and I'm very happy and excited for you.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited.
Do you have a date?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Is this recent? This just happened?
This happened 2 to 3 weeks ago in London.
Goodness, this is new and very exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited about it.
Wow, that's really exciting. How long have you been dating?
Not very long, actually.
Okay.
He says 8 months, but I think it's closer to 6 months.
You know what? Funny. Sometimes you just gotta take life by the horn, so to speak, and just enjoy and just make new adventures happen.
Yeah, I'm excited. He's pretty adventurous and he likes to travel, which is exactly like me. And that's definitely hard to find, someone who is ready to pack a suitcase and go.
Yeah, I love that though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Let me just see. That's really great. So speaking of, one of my rapid questions was if you could go anywhere in the world for a wellness retreat, where would you go?
There's so many places. If it could be anywhere in the world, where would I go? Well, last year I went on a Pilates retreat to Greece. Wow. So I'd probably just go on another wellness retreat to Greece. Just the weather, the food. I'm obsessed, but not the typical tourist destinations. Hell no, that's not my style. I went to this town. It was 1.5 or 2 hours east of this town called Thessaloniki, which is in the north of Greece. It's not where all the rowdy tourists are, but it is pretty, there's still tourism there. And then we went another 1.5 hours east of there. And then in that area, it was right on the water. Absolutely stunning and very peaceful. And it was the perfect place to do any type of retreat, not just I did a Pilates retreat, but any type of retreat.
That sounds nice. And I like
it was
the idea.
So nice. But it was, it wasn't easy to get there. I had to do a connecting flight because there's no direct flights from LAX to Thessaloniki, because it's not there's actually very few direct flights from LA these days to anywhere, but there's, I think, maybe only one direct flight to Athens, if I'm correct.
So now, as you said, being more established in your career, looking back, what piece of advice would you give to your younger self?
Oh my goodness. I would definitely say just be more confident in yourself, because I think that was my biggest flaw, was lacking the confidence. It wasn't I lacked the intelligence or the ability or the knowledge or, the drive. To be honest, confidence is so important in anything that you do. And confidence doesn't come from anything but yourself. I'm sure you've seen people that don't know anything about anything, but they're very confident and then they end up becoming successful. There's somebody who's their counterpart who probably has a little bit more knowledge in that area, but They just don't have that confidence, so they're not going to be as successful. It's just a fact.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's definitely something to be said to, like again, I said before, claiming your space and knowing that you belong in that room and that role is yours and you don't have to, make any kind of excuse or, for being there. You're there.
Well, I was always just like insecure because I was like, I'm an immigrant. English was like my third language. And I always felt like I was like, am I like doing the right thing? Like, do people think I'm a fraud? I think a lot of it stemmed from that too.
It's interesting because, like I said, when I look back at these photos, I can remember who I thought you were, and who you are now is very in line.
Thank you.
So that's good.
Who did you think I was?
So I'll tell you, for, the things that I recall about you, definitely your laugh. You had an infectious kind of laugh. Like if we got you laughing, everyone would laugh as well. And I certainly
so funny.
Always remembered you bringing that kind of, great energy with you. And I also remember you being committed to your studies and your health, in fact, as well. And actually, I recall sitting in the dorm dining room with you side by side. And I remember you like picking up like the veggies from like the salad bar, and me looking over at me like, wow, it's a lot of veggies. And you're like, yeah, you have to be healthy. And like, this is how you eat healthy. And yeah, I recall admiring that about you.
I love that. Well, I grew up eating lots of veggies. I'm like ethnically Persian, and like in the Persian diet, there's a lot of like vegetables and herbs. So we eat like, it's not like a vegetarian diet, but it's like heavily lots of veggies. Like you could easily like make it a vegetarian diet because there's just so many veggies and herbs.
The other thing that I recall was, I don't recall what holiday it was, but I think it probably would have been maybe a Thanksgiving where everyone else was going home and you took me to your family's home, which was fantastic. And I don't know that did your dad not speak English?
No, my dad speaks English.
Back then, were we not like, what did he have an accent, or I'm not sure, but all I remember is that despite our difference in language, we got along really well and we had a good dinner.
My dad just doesn't speak a lot, but he definitely speaks English.
Got it. Okay.
But he does have an accent. Yeah, he does have an accent, but he just doesn't
remember
speak
them
very
being
much.
so kind and so welcoming.
Thank you.
And I had a great dinner.
Yeah. I mean, definitely good food. If you go to any Persian home, that's like a fact.
That's awesome. I love that. So tell me then, again, being us fantastically 20 years older now, has your idea, I know. Tell me, has your idea of success shifted at all? And or have your plans now, especially I guess getting married, how have your plans changed recently to look forward to the next 20?
So I guess, like initially when I, was like, I wanted to go into medicine, I wasn't really clear what I wanted to do. Like I really probably could never envision like opening a private practice on Rodeo Drive in Beverly Hills. That definitely was not like in my like mental, like that wasn't in my thoughts. But I just knew that I did want to become a doctor. I had a different vision of how like I was going to get married, and I thought I was going to get married a lot earlier, and I thought I was going to have like a family a lot earlier. But that's okay. I feel like right now I'm 42 and I hope to be like an inspiration for women because, like women are getting married later and it's okay to do that. And it's okay to have a family later. Right.
Absolutely. And it's an important story to share and tell because ultimately what it is, it's breaking myth that somehow we were only good enough during certain years, which is wildly untrue.
Yes. So I like literally thought I was going to like initially when I was younger, I thought I was going to get married in my 20s. And then I just thought that was what I was supposed to do because my parents got married when they were 18, 19. And then when I was in my 20s and I was like in school, like I had like no time for boys and they kind of annoyed me. And I like the thought of marrying any one of them like just was not appealing. And I kind of brushed that off. Then in my 30s, like I was kind of like, yes, no, but then so many things happened with my career. I was living in the United States. Then I had to I moved around a lot. I switched my career a lot. I really like transformed my career from, first being in internal medicine, then doing the integrative medicine, transforming my career into like integrative aesthetics, which is kind of a specialty I created on my own. Although now everyone's using the term. And so it's like, that was a lot of work. And then, like becoming an American, and that was a lot of work too. And it was just all these things that I kind of wanted to do and accomplish on my own, because I don't know why I did, but I was like very like ambitious to do things and say I did it by myself. I'm not saying that other people should do that, because it's always good to get help and it's always good to do things with other people. But for whatever reason, that was like my thing. I was like, I can do this on my own and I want to prove it. And then finally, I'm at the point now where I'm like able to have like a relationship and give time for that. Yeah. 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 Oh, happy birthday. Oh, yeah, me too. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and then certain things like yoga and Pilates are really important. It's not just like weightlifting, because you want to be able to like stretch your muscles and like keep your body like as flexible as possible. So yeah, 100%. You need flexibility in order to have longevity. Yeah. And, that's not stuff that they teach you in med school or residency. It's like, prescribe this, prescribe that, prescribe this, prescribe that. And then the patients are just kind of like not getting better. Hmm. Yeah. Yes. Yes. 100%. Yes. I love red light therapy. And there's different types of light therapy. It's not just red light. There's like blue light, green light, yellow light, infrared. But if you could just get yourself a red light therapy mask at home, I mean, I have like 5 of them. I should be using them every day, but I use them maybe once a week. I should use them more. If you can use them every day, that's amazing. It decreases inflammation. It basically helps decrease inflammation in the body, and it helps stimulate collagen as well. Some of the like the blue light will help with antimicrobial, antibacterial, antiviral. They all have different benefits in terms of like the light, but I would say just like for basic red light therapy. The first thing is to really believe in yourself. Like, if you have an idea, you should really like move forward with it, because if you don't do it, somebody else is going to do it for sure. And if you really like have a really big dream, just do it. Just do whatever it takes. You should take the risks. I've taken a lot of risks, and yeah, it's sometimes still even scary. I'm like, oh my god, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's like you live one life, and you got to just take that risk if you really want to do it. Because then my mantra. I don't think I have like one specific. Yeah, I mean, it's like I think it's like take the risk. I think I would say it's that. And then I'd say Pilates and magnesium are also part of my mantra. Yeah. Yes, I know. 100%. 100%. Yes. Super important. Love it. Thank you. I think you know, I should definitely come on in like a future episode and we can like get into like specifics, like talking about like hormonal balance and peptides and things like that, like more like specific topics where like, someone who's like a woman or a man who's interested in like really optimizing their health can like use that as a resource for like how to figure it out. And then, you know, if even if they're located in Canada or America or anywhere, like there's still like therapies like in each country that vary, but like still you can still access certain things and, you know, get the yeah. Well, I'm actually going to be having a thread paper, not thread, well, a thread paper as well, but that's not what we're talking about. I'm going to be having a peptide paper published soon in a medical journal. So I'll send that over to you so you can like read a little bit more. It's really designed for like the general public. That's how I wrote it so that like anyone can read it and understand it. But it's going to be in like in a medical journal. So I'll definitely send that to you once I have it. Oh, thank you. Perfect. Thank you so much for letting me be your first guest. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. Well, hopefully I'll come visit you in Vancouver soon, but if you ever come down to LA, let me know because you should definitely come check out the clinic. It's like the location is beautiful. It's like really like I made it so like it's like lots of sunlight coming in. You know, like when people come in, it just feels good. It's not like a old, depressing medical clinic. It's designed to like make you feel good when you walk in. Okay, perfect. Really? Oh my goodness, it's such a quick flight. All right, hurry up and come. Okay. All right. We'll talk soon. Have a nice day. Take care. Bye-bye. Bye.